From the front lines of heating, cooling, and business, this is the Beer Can Cold Podcast, where the suction line is always beer can cold. Hosted by J.G. Van Graan and Will Merritt. Crack one open, turn it up, Bigfoot approved. Take it away, boys.
Sun ain't up, we already sweat. Boots on the mat, job all set. Crawling in the crawl space, bread running hot. Filter dust thick, gotta clear that clot. It's that beer can cold, turn it till it bites. Sweat on the floor, pressure in the lines tonight. Yeah, beer can cold, grind it till it holds. From the attic to the rooftop, we run it beer can cold, yeah. Rooftop hum, middle skin burns, 10-ton unit, fan won't turn.
Okay, so is it weird that I pulled into the shop with this blaring as loud as it could out of my truck speakers this morning?
No, not at all.
No, like I said,
I don't think that was
graphic
bad.
designer was at the gym last night cranking it, she said. Or on the way home, I can't remember what Jess said.
No, so this is not getting old yet. I'm sorry. This is still quite fun. So this is a great day. We mentioned in our previous podcast that we have a wonderful sponsor, somebody that we feel has really kind of embodied what we do here. And so welcome, Marty Gildemeyer. Did I say it correct?
Bang, first one right out of the chute.
Boom.
That's awesome. So, Marty, welcome. And I am so excited. I think this is going to be, me and Will have been talking about this forever. And we're excited because I think that, you're bringing to the podcast what we want to bring to the podcast, which is helping people. And so it's really, really cool. So welcome. Open the floor to you.
Oh, thank you very much. First off, I love the song. The guitar licks on there are awesome. And you bring a little blues, you have to start bouncing your head and tapping your feet a little bit. So
strong harmonica too.
That's right. That's right. So bring a little energy. But thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And once we started talking about this, this is right up my alley and near and dear. So again, I'm Marty Gildemeyer, and I have a mechanical company, ProTech Mechanical Heating and Air Conditioning, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. On top of that, I have a software company as well. It's a Praxis HVAC sales and pricing tools that we brought to the market about 7 years ago to be able to support the pricing and sales of my fellow peers. So I say that and introduce that in there because one of the things once that I went from new construction and I went from plan and spec, and I learned all of the things not to do in the journey of learning how to be a retail contractor. There were some steps that need to go along with that. And when you said that we're helping people, I go on a kind of simple theory that you can't get where you want to be unless you help others get where they want to be. And there's a long list of people that reached out and helped when, lo and behold, I turned on the faucet. So I say to my peers that are going to be listening and anybody that does is when you start looking and talking about maintenance agreements, sometimes you're just going to have to go in and commit, right? And I had to cross a line. Are you interested in doing it? Or are you committed to do it? And it's going to be the difference in being in the retail, right? You can step your feet in it and just test the waters, but where you're really going to get the biggest benefit on there is the key leadership in the company has got to 110% buy in to what would be the least common denominator in a maintenance agreement, right? And with that in there is you're going to learn that you love your customers, because that is now going to be your lifeline. And so when I started doing that in order to be able to do that, I had to realize one thing is, you're never going to live long enough to do it all by yourself, right? And at that point in time, you have to start figuring out, when you beat yourself down and figure out, how am I going to do this and how am I going to implement that? I had to start saying, who am I going to get? So I had to start replacing the who's in my journey and not the how am I going to do it. And so when I started doing that, the enlightening thing around there, it started opening up all kinds of windows, financing windows, understanding those things. So let's just take what I think is probably the biggest thing in your maintenance agreement program is, number one, I have been blessed to be in this business now for over 37 years. And if I were to give anybody the top three things to start with and to be really focused on, number one, maintenance agreements. Number two, maintenance agreements. Number three, maintenance agreements. Okay. Right. So this is going to be, you're going into the retail world, right? And you're going to try to get customers for life. And so you start off and you put the culture of what you want those maintenances to consist of, right? And a lot of times we get into those and we start looking at, just quickly going in. And I've heard, and I've probably repeated in the past, I got to have these in there to keep my guys busy, right? And I mean, we're in the shoulder season right now, right? If anybody is close to listening to me, I'm in Georgia right now. We had 70-degree weather 3 weeks ago, right? So
74 here.
Yeah. So
I played golf in shorts.
What's that?
I played golf in shorts that day.
That's right. We did too. Right. And you start thinking, it's like, it's enjoyable for everybody except for the HVAC guy. Right. And then we start looking, it's like, where are we going to find opportunities? And then, so I want to say this to my smaller, and when I say smaller in there, that 70% of the whole entire industry consists of an owner and less than 5 employees.
Yep.
So for all of us that are out there and that you really put an emphasis on your people and you want to keep them busy, but sometimes when we compensate our folks and they're hourly, they're the first ones that end up having to leave when there's no opportunities, right? So that's got to be a really big impact in your thinking when you start putting that in there. Is you want to keep them busy, but you don't want to just go busy work, and you don't want to intentionally go lose money. And so culture is going to be a big thing. Is what is it going to look like, right? And then process, right? So the culture is going to build it. The process is going to drive it. And then when you start looking at that, so how are you going to do it, and what are you going to call it? And right, so we call maintenance across the industry spring and fall, right? And so I would tell you very structurally, that's a good thing, but that was more for us, right? The temperature in the spring, 65, 68 degrees, right? The temperatures in the fall, 68, 65 degrees, is like, we really got to look at these as intentional calls, right? And that's when we're going to be working on the soft skills of our technicians and what to look for when you get out there. But so in our company, we have ours is our Protection Plus annual maintenance plan, right? And then instead of tech, the tech is TECH, right? And so we spelled out in the culture of ours in there is we have a annual maintenance, and it's referred to every single one of the visits is a precision tune-up, professional cleaning, and safety inspection.
That's right.
I got that, and it's not something that I made up. I borrowed it from Jackie Rainwater and Ron Smith, right? Mm-hmm. They were keys to this. But if you look at that and you call them, and it's not just a clean in, wipe the coil, spray it down, check it back, check your phone while you're letting the water run, right? It's like precision tune-up, professional cleaning, and safety inspections. Right. And so in the wintertime that we're in here right now, what's the cost of doing a CO test and carbon monoxide and combustion, right? All safety. So those are all going to be talked about. Here's what I think where the biggest hiccup is when we start looking at maintenance plans is what are we getting compensated for? So what I'm going to ask you to my peers to look at is, first off, don't follow the dollar, follow the opportunity.
That's right. So a couple of things here, and I wanted to ask you a question, what your rule of thumb is, but in our research and what we're seeing is for every $1 million in revenue, you should have 400 maintenance agreements.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of okay. I think we're a little above that. But then the other thing that I'm hearing, and I tracked it last year and I found it to be true, for every 10 new maintenance agreements that walk into the door, we have a change out. So it's roughly about, for every 10, we're going to get a change out. So you just need to run the numbers. But, we did a big redesign, and we talked about this last year when you were on the podcast. We had to go back. We had several different plans. So now we ended up with 2 plans. The one is an older plan and we're not going to take away, but the one, because there's a lot of customers in that really like that plan, and we're going to leave them alone, but we supersized the new plan. And all of a sudden we went from technicians not really selling to, I just looked before I left the office, it's the 20th of the month. We sold 34 already. So right. They're excited. Now it's going to get to keep the excitement up, right? To
right.
keep them going with it. But we're really excited about it.
Yeah. And, here's the thing with that. And so if you're excited about it and the technicians are excited about it, our customers are going to get excited about it. Right. That's and right. So and the thing that you're looking at when you're going in there is, every opportunity is an opportunity to provide, right? Whether it's IAQ, whether it is, digital thermostats. We went and introduced duct cleaning last year. What a monster move that was in being able to use that and being able to provide that opportunity. But, when we go back, when you're offering the 2 visits, I think we want to just call them just annual maintenance, right? And not get hemmed up in the spring and the fall.
Yep.
So,
we have a department, so that's a big talking point too, right? So PMs is good because it keeps everybody busy, but we actually have a PM department, and those guys run 5 calls a day, 52 weeks a year, and we use that as our training. We use that as opportunities. We teach, this is where we coach the guys about opportunities, how to talk to customers. And then when we do get slow in the service department, that's when we jump in with service technicians to make sure that we don't get to the end of the year and we didn't adhere to all our visits.
Right.
Really, for my service technicians, I like to send them more to like commercial PMs, because they can get up on a rooftop, right? And so forth. And it's a little bit easier for them to look at equipment. They're a little bit more experienced than my young guys coming through. But that was kind of our methodology, is to say, we want those PMs to be run 5 a day. We have 5 techs in that group, 5 a day. So it's 25 PMs a day. And then this is where we do our coaching and our soft skills training.
Right. And so, and would I be right by saying those are 5 potential sales calls?
That's correct.
Right. Is the most important people in your company are in front of the driving of your revenue with your customer. Right.
That's right.
And even if it's a good morning, how's your day? Remember the dog's name. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing it does, JG, is number one is for smaller companies that their techs may be maybe an installer too, right? And the tech is a lead tech. But these need to be so important, and they need to be accounted for accordingly financially in there, that no matter who's in your company, right, they can go and do these and they're financially gaining, right? So, my best people is all of my guys, right? Yeah. But the most seasoned ones, when they go in, and as the younger ones start coming in and they start getting their feet up under it and they start getting comfortable, and you give them tools, right? It's giving them the proper tools to be able to speak and to be able to go back and speak educated when they go in. And I say this, when you go in and you have the opportunity to provide an option, when you speak, it's a cost, and then it's negotiable. if you can show them and let them see what the cost is, or a picture or an option of what that opportunity is, now it's value, right? And now it's not really going to be second guessed. So when you're doing these maintenance plans in there, it's going to be really important that you have the tools to be able to provide and empower those guys to be able to speak it without having to call whoever their lead is. Hey, I have a capacitor that's not, reading properly in there. How much do you want me to charge for this? Right. And then you get back in there. Oh, she said something about the thermostat. She wasn't sure the thermostat was working. How much should I charge for the thermostat? Right. Mm-hmm. We have tools for that right now. Yeah. Right. And not those things are being able to be shown. And I will tell you, plugging in, they're not that expensive. It's more about the culture and buying in and committing to it than it is about the actual journey itself. And so
you're already there for the call too.
That's it.
You're already at home.
And you think about it, when we set up a call and you set those in there, those are trusted advisors, right? Mm-hmm. They're in most of the time. And this is what I would tell my peers in there: dress appropriately, right? Put a name on a shirt, right? And if you have the software and you can have the ability to send maybe a text to let them know they're coming, maybe a picture. That's not, you don't have to, but these are things that build up that credibility, right? And, the truck that comes in the driveway and, when they present themselves, they have that skill. And I got to tell you, the empowerment of being able to do that is the biggest thing. And then they get one or two trips into it, right? And then the customers call them by name. And then your dispatch, or what we like to call the director of first impression,
I like that.
They are director of first impressions.
Right. And so they're in the Christmas cards and the times and the things that come out. We just love our Renee. I mean, she keeps us in line, and, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, I'm going to steal it, if that's okay.
Yeah, director of first impressions. But I'm just thinking of, I get copied on a lot of our customers' reviews through the software, and I always see this. She's a female maintenance tech. It's called out constantly, her name. We love her. She's been here for 7 years now. They know her. So, but what I wanted to ask and interject into here, Marty and JG, is, you mentioned it early on about the soft skills training and how important that is. And I think too many companies, they don't do enough of that. And especially for for everybody, it's for the director of first impressions, the CSR, but that person that's coming into the home, working on their communication skills. And like I said, just get, presenting options, which provides opportunities, not
absolutely.
So I just, that's a big thing I don't see enough of, and I don't hear enough about, like, especially when it's slower, dedicating the time to training,
So one of our rocks this year, rocks being a word for goal, because we're an EOS company, the number one is our customer service experience. And we're doing it all year long, and we're digging into all different kind of facets of it. And if I have to show you this rock written out, it is impressive.
I'd love to see it.
I took some time with this one,
right?
But one of the things we decided to do is whole company soft skills training. And so I went online, did a bunch of research, and I'm not going to name his name because I'm going to actually ask him if he would mind to come on the podcast in one of our episodes. But there's a guy that's been in this industry for years, and this is all he coaches on. So I reached out to him, bought his curriculum, got the books in, and the month of February, we're doing the entire company. Now, I'm not bringing accounting and HR in, but the entire company is going through most of the training, and then we're bringing the entire group in to do the last bit of the training, because the thing is, from employee to employee, we're internal customers.
Right.
And so we need to learn how to communicate with each other as well. So there's about 10 to 12 hours. So I can't bring the service techs in for an entire day training. We're pretty busy in February, but we're going to do 2 hours a week. And we're going to just start, and we're going to do the soft skills thing. And I'm going to report back to you guys, because I just read through the curriculum last night, and I'm super excited about it, because it's the little things that I used to learn when I was in the field. You knock, you don't ring a doorbell. You don't park in the driveway. You
Right.
say, my pleasure.
Right.
There's so many different things. How do you de-escalate a customer? So I am stoked. I'll report back. But to your point, Will, we don't do that enough. We expect that we hire guys. Well, anybody can talk to anybody. They don't. They don't know customer service skills. That's something that has to be taught, and it's not a natural thing.
Yeah, and it's learned. It's it's an experience over time. But
Absolutely.
if you can kind of say, hey, this is how it's done, versus just get out there, go do your maintenance.
Here's a tool bag and a truck. Good luck.
Right. Osmosis, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, when Will said that a little while ago, it kind of brought me, and remember at the very beginning of our conversation, we said we're now going and moving from, being a contractor to being a retailer, right? There's a big difference in that, right? And to my contractor peers and the owners and the operator, the people that have leadership in there is, somebody on your staff is going to be the coach, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not the coach, you got to bring the coach in that will help you go get in there. But they have to be coached. And if you've played any sports at all, and if you kind of put our companies in the same thing that we put our sports teams in there, if you knew that they talk to their teams to be ready for the game on Sunday as often as we talk to our teams, you can imagine the bricks that would be thrown at the TV at what we got to see, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think as leaders and owners, and especially for all of us that may have the smaller companies, and look, you wear the title, chief cook and bottle washer, right? Eventually we're going to get it down to the point, and we're going to move that your to-do list is not for you to do it all, right? But yet your message and your culture has got to be spoken, and it's got to be felt, and it's got to be repeated. And so, for instance, with my team, I will tell you, I have got the best team that God could provide. And they are absolutely bought in. They love their customers. They love each other. And for the last few years, I haven't had to handle catastrophes, right? Yeah. Because we've talked about them on Tell the Truth Mondays, right? And if you look at any sports that's, football, whatever you do on that game, you're filmed. Mm-hmm. And then on Monday, we break down the film, and it's Tell the Truth time. Did you really get all that done, right? And so it's not a beat up party, right? It's bringing it back, and then it's going through role play, and then it's going through repetition, and then it's going through things that went through there, and then it's engaging. But here's the thing about what it is. It goes in. It's like somebody asked me one time, it's like all your guys, every time they come, they all say the same thing. They all have the same confidence. And it seems like everybody, how do you grow them all the same?
There he is.
And I just like, you know what? I don't. I just take away the things that keep them from growing, right? And and we talk, and then we talk it over, and then we go back over it and over, and you put them in to the responsibility, and then all of a sudden, this maintenance plan that's only $189 a year, now it's worth $1,595 a year annually. Yeah. And then you multiply that by 1,800 maintenance agreements. If you do the simple math where you go into that, where ours, we do this every year now, we take what that is, and I can almost tell you a good projection of what our year is going to look like, because 86% of the customers that we got to work with last year at a little under $4 million, 86 of them came from our maintenance plans. Less than 15% was call-in. Yeah. Now, Will, when I send this to you in there is, if you're going to market, wouldn't you get a lot more out of the people that already know who you are and what you're doing? And if you're marketing to somebody that already knows you, and your return on that investment, so wouldn't it be almost that $189 is kind of your marketing plan, right? And it's putting your team at minimum 2 times a year. But here's the last thing. One of the things is we go 3 times a year.
Yeah, you said that. I like that.
So what we do is, every time you go to do that, when you want to put yourself, you want to build a better mousetrap, right? Right. Is everybody's doing the same thing, and everybody can clean the same coil. The boxes are the same. So you just want to do something that you can feel. So what I was had a hard time getting away from was fall and spring, and then not getting to that maintenance, and then you're in the middle of the summer doing a spring maintenance.
Yep.
Right. Or now you're in the winter, and now we're wanting to do these things, and we're wanting to call them all to get people to work all year round. So we went 3 times a year. Now you got to be committed, and our director of first impression is awesome. And so we go 3 times a year. We have a heating visit, a cooling visit, and a bonus visit. And the bonus visit is free, which means that we're going to come and we're going to at least catch that system when it's under a load, and be able to check it when it's under a load, when it's been 20 degrees out, and be able to check the combustion and be able to check in those things in there. But lo and behold, our opportunities just blossomed. Because when you're in there at the heat of battle, then the FUD factor comes in, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You don't want to be caught without in the cold. You don't want to be caught in the heat. But it opens up that communication to be able to provide opportunities, to be able to, to support that customer.
Okay.
So the cost of it is the same. All you got to do, the only thing our customer has to do is make sure that they schedule with us in that calendar year.
Yep. The fun thing is, and I hope that I'm going to try to bring it all back into this one statement. If you're listening to us today and you're a contractor and you're wondering why you're slow, why things are not going well in your business, the question is, how many PMs do you have?
Yes.
You need to bring it full circle, and you need to start buying into this. I can't tell how many contractors out here say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing PMs. Really?
It's not sexy.
No.
Oh, it's a lost leader.
Mm-hmm.
I say no, not done privately. But here's my question to you, Marty. As a professional in the industry, contractor, this is the biggest problem. What does the smaller company, when we're saying under $1 million in revenue, 500,000 in revenue, 750, something like that, how do they get there? I see that's one of the biggest struggles is they've got maintenance agreements, but they have like 200 and it's just not enough. And they run through those, and then they're like stuck. And then we're at the time we are right now, we're starting, I'm in Charlotte, you're in Atlanta, JG's in Raleigh. We're all in similar markets. It's starting to get cold, but I've talked to a bunch of industry people in the region. Everybody's saying it is still rather slow, which I will come back to the amnesia statement. It's usually slow every January.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise to us, but it is, right?
Yeah, and it's not great. No one wants to hear that, but yeah. So what does that smaller contractor, that again is really just a few years old, but they're trying to grow, but again, they just only have a few maintenance agreements. What's their strategy to really grow that?
Yeah. So here's the thing: is number one is intentionality. First and foremost, it is got to be. Literally, it's almost probably the closest thing to Alcoholics Anonymous when you commit, right? And you just look in the mirror and, hello, my name is Marty Gildemeyer, and I'm an HVAC contractor, and I'm committed to the 12-step plan of creating maintenance plans for my customers. And then when you start getting to that point, then things start opening up, right? And so obviously I would say that what's going to help is pricing tools, right? Having information to where you're going to be going when you go get in front of people. But as they talk, even with you, and they look at their marketing and how, new installations, that should be a maintenance agreement. And anything that they go and do. So it's the easiest place in the world to ask for a referral, and ask for them every time you've been there. And you would be amazed at how many, if you said 200, believe it or not, if you take 200 and you commit and you do that, there's a good amount of money in there to be able to do 200 right and be able to capture the opportunities out of there. That's a good amount to start with. And then if you can go back in there, and I don't know what the percentage would be, but at the end, ask for a referral. right? Ask for a review. We went and we did things when we started off doing these and we sponsored a local hockey team. And the team, we were at any time they scored, we had to turn up the heat, right? And we had the things out there, and people would just come in, and we had a couple of games before the games in there, and we had given away shirts. We didn't call them to sell them equipment. We called them to offer them our service, right? And so we had, for that whole season, we had hundreds of people. And that was just one of the things. But once it starts rolling, your goal in there that every person you run into, you convert from a demand, new acquaintance to a lifelong customer. And there's a process to that, right? And I'd be happy. And as you're going through that same thing, JG, it's having something in their hands that they can be able to show, convert, and show the differences. Obviously, with maintenance there's discounts. If nobody can see the discount, then it's a cost you're speaking, right? But when you go to do your service, and then you show the discount if you were going to be a maintenance agreement customer. So once you start looking at those in everything about your marketing, everything about your existence, everything you run into is, how do I get them to be a maintenance agreement customer and get them into the fold? And here's the thing, Will. In our Praxis tool, I've got a lot of good folks around that work around with me at 2 or 3 miles. They're competitors and good guys, right?
Yeah.
But you would think, well, you don't want to give them your secrets, and you don't want to do that. Well, that could be farther from the truth.
Yeah.
Because I would guarantee this. Once you get a good maintenance plan in there, it doesn't matter what your prices are, and it doesn't matter if they're giving it away at the corner. They're probably never going to get to your people, because the highest percentage is ours is over 85%, never even get a second opinion. Right.
That's the whole industry statistic. And Honeywell did it years ago, JG. We had it at Virginia. I remember having access to it, and people don't get it. Why would you get another estimate if you built the trust and the value of what you're doing for that customer?
Yes, if I gave you 4 options, I gave you 4 estimates, right?
Why would you go anywhere else? Here's a big one too. I think we should touch on, and I've heard this a lot, that the maintenance techs are not communicating. It could be the service tech or maintenance tech is not communicating with the homeowner. Hey, Mr. Gildemeyer, your system's 14 years old now. And, we replaced the fan motor last year. You had a contactor the year before, and it's coming. And to kind of buffer and ease them into the fact it's coming, versus I hear this a lot, that they've been doing maintenance for me for the last 7 years, and then boom, my system needs to be replaced. No one's ever said anything to me.
Right.
And then what do? I just lost trust in you. I'm going to call a couple other people. And then what happens? You end up getting some guy that's one guy in a truck type of thing, and the price is,
or negotiating your price, right? When you didn't have to.
It's $4,000 less than your price.
Right.
What happens? You lose a customer. Yeah.
But Will, here's the thing. When you go and look at that, that's a team journey, right? And so when I say it's a team, there's people inside of your organization and is looking at those calls, right? And so if they're going out there may be, at the very beginning with your team, you're reminding them, hey, you're going out to that call today for Mrs. Jones in there. Make sure that you let them know everything about their system, right? Don't leave them in the dark. Don't leave them and go back in there. And when I teach and coach my folks in there, I just it's like, look, don't get your feelings hurt. The N or the O is not going to hurt your feelings, right? And so when you just said that in there, it's like, so on Mondays, when you go back over there, you're going, oh, wow, guys, Mrs. Jones missed the opportunity to understand about getting a new system, right? Not so much beating him down, but yet when the whole team's in there, and we spiff and bonus on a lot, and high bonuses are actually competitive ones on maintenance and maintenance conversions, right? So they're celebrated. There's 2 bells in the office. As soon as one gets converted, we're ringing bells like it's on Wall Street. But the
That's
one
fun.
thing that it is
We have
fun.
a bell too. We have a bell.
Right.
The guys stopped ringing it though. I'm going to get back on their asses on that one.
No, I've been known to rip the red bell off the wall in a meeting, right? and but here's the thing. I think what we're all saying is, if you make them fun, right, and they're not dull, right? You put some energy in it. I mean, it's better than going home and getting 20 hours a week, right?
Yeah. Well,
So,
we're dipping into culture here.
So
Yeah.
I just did some math magicals, and feel free to poke holes all through this. But if you think maintenance agreements is not worth it, let me share some math with you. There's 261 working days this year in 2026. Will, your question is, how does a small company do this? This is how I would do it if I could.
Okay.
I would set a goal, right? If I would hire a young person or a person that I feel is very detail oriented, but is going to offer options. So you're going to have to find that guy or girl, and then train them up. And my goal is going to be to get 1,566 systems on maintenance, not maintenance agreements, system on maintenance. Some houses has 2 systems, some has 3. And let me tell you where the math comes from. 261 working days, 6 systems a day, right? That's 1,566 systems a year that person can clean. Now you take that and you divide it by 2, right? Because about 50% of those, 50 to 60% of those, you're going to be able to upgrade something to the customer, a capacitor, a contactor, some type of repair. So then you take that at an average ticket of $300. That's $234,900 of revenue going to come in from 783 tickets. Any issues with my math yet?
Mm-mm.
All right, now 783. You take that, and actually this is wrong. It should really be the 1566. But what I did is I said, okay, say I get 78 changeouts at $14,000 average ticket. That's $1,092,000 that you can get just from maintenance agreements. And I'm telling you, this is not fuzzy math. This is math that I see in our departments every day. And so if you don't think maintenance is a moneymaker, 100% it is.
Yeah.
But you have to have the right culture, right? And so one thing that we're getting away from now that we're working with our guys on is it's not just something for you to go keep you busy, like Marty said in the beginning of the episode. It is the better you do the maintenance, the less the callback, right? We don't have to go back. We don't have an upset customer, and then they're going to call us back. So every time you stop at a maintenance and you find one little thing, you check everything and make sure it's all clean, it's all working properly, so that when you leave that house, the customer will 100% get the value that they needed from that call, so that they have no hesitation to call you back the next time. But those are real numbers. Yeah. There's $1 million to be made and 78 changeouts. Now, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, $14,000 average ticket is too high. Great. Whatever your average ticket is, put it in the math. I don't care. Ours is 14,000 average ticket.
Well,
there's, so actually it's 1.2 million, almost 1.3 million, because if you take the revenue that you brought in just from upgrades and things you're doing, plus the changeouts, there's a $1.2 million department. So you want to get from 4 million to 5 million, there's your ticket.
Yeah. They don't believe in it. I think a lot of times it's the whole, from the leadership, ownership down, they don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Well, think about this too, right? You get paid, right? Either you get paid monthly and your receivables. I mean, if you're doing new construction and you're doing things that your receivables is a week out, 2 weeks out, a month out, right? This is paid on the spot, right? So you don't have to go manage receivables. And sometimes, you get going and we just start overlooking this thing, and it just gets, I just don't want to do it, and I'm just going to go chase, that $12,000 duck job, right? And it's hard to do that. But I just wanted to go back and reiterate what you just said in there, JG, in there again, just to be able to go back in and say that number can be with a $40 an hour tech, right? Yes. And so to all of everybody that's listening within there, leadership, this is as important for you to set the culture for those technicians and what they're saying, they're learning from you.
Right.
Right. And if they're not doing it right, so lack of communication is a sole and complete responsibility of the communicator. If they're not doing it, they didn't hear what was asked of them. That's our fault.
Yeah.
Right. Then you repeat it, and then you repeat it, and then you repeat it, and then you repeat it. But getting back to the meetings that you just said a little bit ago, Will, detrimental, guys, detrimental. And look, when you say you don't have time, it's like, well, what happens if you have to send somebody home early? Right. I mean, then it starts weighing on your mind. And then if we know that these times are coming, and then look, where are we all getting trained? And distributors are training between January and April, right? So follow the whole thing going in there is like, when do you want to talk to your people that you're not talking like your hair's on fire, that you're not telling them and demanding things of them? And so when I look at that, my biggest turn was, it was the people, right? The people were going to make that happen, because the people were going to be in front of that customer, and the customers were going to like your people. And at that point in time, it's not that they were selling anything. They were offering, they were given options. And if they said no, then we just asked again another time, right? And then eventually, I mean, just through a time period, once you've had it, once you start building these, some are going to go a whole year and not get a replacement or even a big ticket item. Some are going to go and buy a system. Some are going to get a humidifier. But as you start going in those, that number that you just said in there, that's all relevant when you start going. And you can toss these around in a couple different ways. But here's the thing. You want to talk about a guy that lost it twice in construction and had to go learn the hard way. And look, I don't think I'm a dumb person, and dumb is doing it 3 times.
Only twice.
Right. I only did it twice.
Right.
And then when you start getting it, you just want to broadcast it. I built software that shows you how to do this, and it shows you the money that is in for both the savings and the value to your customer, right? And the revenue to your people and the revenue to your company.
Yeah.
Right. And so once you get that, I mean, financing makes so much difference. Credit cards, where you know what it costs to be able for a customer to spend dollars with you. There's so much that happened inside these maintenance plans that it just gets, when you start making it fun, and then people start building, and then the culture is delivering the customer experience.
Well, and then the other thing is, you offer your customers an option to pay for that maintenance agreement monthly, and then you start looking at your P&L, and like in our instance, there's between $45,000 and $50,000 a month rolling in. That's just monthly payments on PMs, right? So it helps with cash flow. It's
kind of kills that lost leader thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, it helps with retention too, because I used to I'm old school. I write the check once a year, and they're like, okay, old guy.
And we give them the option to do that. There's no problem in
I know,
but
the whole thing is if you're doing it monthly, then essentially there's no renewal. It just goes on forever. And I think that's the biggest thing to look at of having monthly payments for maintenance is like, well, it's not like, all right, it's a renewal visit. Got to make sure we get them to renew, and a lot of times the text, they forget, it gets busy. Like, oh, that was a renewal visit. But that comes down, that's leadership coming down and training, going, look, hey, this is Mr. Merritt's second visit. He's due. Yeah. And my provider always asks. It's in the fall. I write the check. But, the monthly thing, I know I hear people that they get the banking stuff, they get frustrated with it. But, a person trying to remember, an owner told me, he said, what I like about it is they never expire.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I like that.
So Marty, to bring, we're a little over time here, but I want to take about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I just want to talk about Praxis. I want you to walk us through what it does, where they can find you, and all these wonderful things. And then we'll, at the end of the episodes too, or in the descriptions, we will put all your contact information as well. But tell us a little bit about Praxis.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much. This is a very, very special, and we developed this about 7 years ago. So it's called the Praxis HVAC Sales and Pricing Tools. And we have about 13 different tools based with 13 different calculators backed up by proposals, presentations, and opportunities for both the service department and retail selling, right? So one of the things that when it happened, what drove me to do this was the lack of tools that were self-explanatory, easy to use, but more importantly, it empowered everybody, right? And so, I wanted to put the calculators in there so people and my peers could understand their business. I wanted to put the job costing in there so they could understand their business. When we filled it out, that there's 3,000 edits in there that we've already done it along with the processes in there on a journey to success, and they're all editable. So the brand that you use, but more importantly, we show and we bring the calculators in to build your what's referred to as a sell labor rate, right? And then we have the tools that can be viewed by the customer, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll be able to see their costs, not be able to see the customer, my contractors, all their costs, the end result, right? And then they're teaching tools, right? And so when I say it's easy, some people don't have it. It's not that easy to have a team meeting, right? Mm-hmm. But when you understand what is the process and the cost and the sales and pricing of your cost in goods, and you know what the cost is for you to offer financing, now the ability to be able to offer those in there becomes much clearer. So all the processes are built into it. A very robust presentations built in different forms to be able to show it into the customer. So it's kind of got a theme like this. It's like for a contractor, built by a contractor. Yeah. I'm not a computer guy, right? I hired a team. Yeah. But it was once, at the very beginning of ours, we said we wanted to help people. I got to tell you, that was my aha moment, right? It's like when it happens, you got to let everybody see it. So lastly, I would say this. We go to sales boot camps. We go to seminars and we go to things in there. And we as contractors are going to do the very best we can do for our teams. And we have great intentions, right? But at that point in time, we get in there, all that information after one day oozes all out, and we don't know how to implement the process. That's right. So it's as simple as this. Everybody's got good plans. Everybody's got a good opinions in there. We've got the ball, right? There you go. Take the ball, and now we can run a play.
That's awesome.
So,
gents, I am going to make a prediction that this was one of the most powerful podcasts we've done yet. This is going to be a good one. I am very excited. I did not know, and I need to share this with you, and this is all through learning the software. We've been live on YouTube this entire time. So thank goodness no F-bombs were dropped and no crazy things happened.
No way. Oh, shit.
There it is.
Well, after watching television a lot lately, like the sports, they cuss a lot where you used to get to say S-H-I-T.
Yep.
Nick Saban said it Monday afternoon before the national championship game.
The quarterback said it in his.
Yeah.
It's different world, Marty. We're getting old, man. Yep.
Actually, and I'll get with you afterwards, but I think we might we always do a good job, in my opinion. So I think we just do the YouTube live. I don't think it's an issue, and then we'll upload to the other channels, but and we'll go edit some things. But I think this is a very fun episode. I think we brought the value that we're talking about. Just to put a pin in it, if you're a contractor and you don't believe in maintenance agreements after this podcast, we're not going to change your mind.
What are your 3 words of advice?
That's right.
What are they?
Don't be the third.
Maintenance agreements.
There you go.
Oh yeah, baby.
I love it. Marty, thank you so much. We'll circle back with you. Actually, boys, I'm down. I'm just going to be honest. I'm down 5 pounds, and this and water is all.
There you go.
I'm starting. I can't fit in the camera screen, so I gotta do something about it.
Yeah, well, you drink those beers that got a lot of calories in. This is
I
just
do.
old Miller Lite, not a lot in these.
So I'm only doing those on Saturdays, but I'm not saying what time I start. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Marty. Great, and then we will have you back at the end of February, and then we will tackle another topic. So, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Unfold from the roof to the crow, yeah, they handle that load. Turn work day pain to a legendary beer can cold. Laugh through the grind when the day feel low. From the shop to the stop where the brews get rolled. Talk real life, keep the beer can cold. Hey, they been frozen the winter, cooked in July. Seen tape on the leak, seen the rookie just lie. But they learn and they earn and they pass that game. Every fix, every miss, they gon' say that name. Swap tips, drop slips, but they still stand tall. Talk pride in the craft when the boss don't call. You can ride in the truck, you can sit at home. Hit play, let the crew make the grind feel known. This that beer can go, yeah. Ride with JG and Will. Let the tail unfold from the roof to the crawl. Yeah, they handle that low. Turn work day pain to a legend told. Beer can cold. Laugh through the grind when the day feel low. From the shop to the stop where the brews get rolled. Talk real life, keep the beer can cold. Crack that top, let the day get told. JG, Will, keep the beer can cold. Yeah. Crack that top, let the day get told. JG, Will, keep the beer can cold. Yeah.